What's up?
What is it that you just said to me about your ideas?
I said I've had a lot of dumb ideas in my time on this planet, and building a van is the worst one, hands down.
Don't be dramatic.
I'm not. This is a terrible idea. If you're here for the motorcycles, they're coming. But at the time of this filming, it is 28 degrees where we are in Nebraska. So it's not quite, it is sunny, as you can see. So we could ride, but I also gotta get this van done so we can take trips in that too. The motorcycle stuff is coming. Meanwhile, we're on day 732. Actually, it's probably more than that of building this van. It's time to do a little wiring. I'm gonna have to turn the lights on. It is super windy out, so I'm gonna try to leave the door closed today. But I'm finishing this wall. I don't remember how much of this I filmed the other day. We just took a couple of days off of working on the van, went and saw some friends in Lincoln yesterday, and the day before did a little shopping. So I'm like refreshed, but I also don't remember where I was. But today we are going to finish this. We've got to put a box here and a box here. That way, if I'm sitting in the driver's seat, I can use this one, and Heather can use this one if she's sitting in the bench. But I gotta do some hole cutting. So that is step one, and then it is time to clean this van. It is a pit. It doesn't take long. It's so small. Just a few things in here make it look like super messy. So like every project I get done, I'm gonna have to start picking up everything from that project, which I'm kind of bad at right now, but just to give myself a walking room and all of that, it kind of stresses me out. Oh, baby, baby, baby. That fits nice. Heather's the painter, but you can see she's nowhere to be found. So I'm having to do it. Just kidding, she's working, so it is up to me. The fact that these aren't perfectly centered is gonna mess with my OCD a little bit, but I don't want to be smacking my head on the back of this plug-in, especially when stuff's plugged in. Oh, that doesn't look bad. That'll be all right. I am gonna hit my head on that one, unfortunately, but I couldn't go over any farther because of this, and I need that there to give that stability, so it is what it is, I suppose. And I gotta brag about this just for a second. This is one of my best ideas I've had. So I didn't want to have to drill. If you guys have ever used these little USB ports, there's a nut on them, right, like this. Let me get better light here. So you have to drill a hole in whatever you're putting it in, and then screw a nut on from behind. Well, the problem with that is, if you're putting a wall up, you can't get behind the wall to tighten the nut, right? So your options are drill a bigger hole and then make like a little square plate to put this in, and then screw the square plate to the wall. Or what I did is I took this little dummy block, drilled a hole in it that, you know, was the size of this, and then I modified. It's kind of a two-hand removal process, but you can kind of see right here I cut just a little bit of that, and that just allowed it to get around, because this is just a little bit bigger than that plate, or this dummy plug. So I think that looks awesome. The only downside of that is you got 12 volt right next to 120 volt, but we're not going to run the inverter very often, so I made sure I separated everything on the inside, and I'm going to do the same over here. I got this one clear over here and this one clear over here, and it should be fine. That is my solution to that problem, but it's taken like 2 hours. I'm tired, and it's like 3 p.m. Here we go. It's a plumbing day, unfortunately. I've been dreading today for a while because I am not a plumber. But shout out to my cousin who is a plumber, owns his own business, and he let me use his expansion tool. Because these things are not cheap. It's $500. So very appreciative of him for letting me use that, because I did not want to buy a tool just to do the small amount of plumbing in this van that I have to do. I have kind of a small like plan that I drew out on a notebook and then lost the notebook, but I kind of remember kind of how I'm doing it. There's gonna be a lot of T's. It's all 1/2-inch PEX. I got my water heater, and then I'll have an outdoor shower here. Not really a shower. It's more of a, you've been running around in the sand all day, so you need to wash your feet off kind of thing. So I guess I'll get started. You can't see me, can you? There's my pretty face. I got these 5-foot long sticks as opposed to a roll because I want to keep it flat against the wall, and I don't want a bunch of, like, if you ever used coiled PEX or anything coiled, it kind of tends to keep the shape like that. So I got those. It's a little more money to get the sticks. Sorry about the harsh lighting. It's a little more money to get the sticks than the roll, but I did buy a small roll so I can do my shower in one swoop. But these sticks are going to just kind of go down the wall. I probably got way too many, but I'd rather have more than run out, because it's a minimum 65 miles drive to get these, because I live in a tiny little town. So I didn't want to have to go back. I also got a bag of these collars. I'll show you kind of how these go on. And then a ton of ball valves and some male fittings and some T's and some elbows for that. Okay, so here's my T's. I got a bunch of these, and I got a bunch of 90-degree elbows. Hopefully I can figure all this out. I'll give you my quick tutorial on how this works. These little rings, and I'm not sure which side is which, they slip on here. Must be this way. And then you put this in here, and that expands it out. You hold it down a few times, it rotates and expands this whole deal out, and then you just slide this in and hold it for a second, and it'll kind of lock onto this barb, and it's still spinnable, but it's sealed. So we'll see how it works. I guess. Okay. Well, unfortunately, as it goes with this van, I had to stop plumbing, but I did get a good amount of it kind of completed. I'm going to put some clamps on this to hold it against the wall so it doesn't vibrate. Okay, we're going to try this again since my battery kept dying even though it said it was 60%. Go GoPro. I've got most of the plumbing on the backside done here, but I do have, this is going to come to a piece of plywood that's right here, and there'll be an outdoor shower, and then this is my fill port for the tank. That's going to be like my main fill. It's gravity fill. So I've got to get these mounted, which go to a bar that goes across here, which I hit my head on several times, so I took it off. And then this is going to bolt down here. And that's going to kind of hold the tank in place there. And there's also going to be one up here, and then I'll probably put just a couple of braces in just to kind of hold the tank in place. I have to figure out this framing before I can really continue on with my plumbing. I also need to make plywood for this, where my pump mounts. I'll kind of show you guys what I did up front now. So I had it up to here, and I had several ideas that I was kind of going back and forth on. This is ultimately what I decided on, so that's why it's split there, and I've got a little piece of aluminum there to kind of hold it in place. Comes over here to a 90 and just goes up. That's going to kind of hold the tank in place on the front side, and then like I said, that other stuff will be on the back side. I've squared it all up. There's going to be a panel that goes from here to here, and that'll be kind of like our laundry area, whatever. But I had to get all this done before I could figure out where all the plumbing was going to go, so that's why I had to stop. Anyway, I just want to give you a quick update. That's where I'm at right now. I'm going to secure all this stuff to the wall and then try to maybe finish this framing and maybe get some plywood cut today yet before the sun goes down. Work, work, work. Harsh lighting yet again. I did want to show you guys quick how I framed this out. It's not done yet, it's just kind of wedged in there, but I'm going to take some plywood and mount here. Obviously not this piece because it's not big enough. That's going to mount there. I'm going to have a couple ports in here, and then there'll be one over here that just kind of covers up all this utility type of things. So yeah, I'm gonna try to finish that up, finish that pump stuff that I showed you guys in the last video, try to finish that up today, and then if I can get all of this done, the bed area will be done. Like done. And once the bed area is done, then I can kind of focus on the front part, finish the wiring. I have a long way to go, but I'm so close. I'm so close. I've given myself a date that I want to get this thing done. We'll see if I actually hit it, but at least I have a goal and something to work towards. I'm working on it 7 days a week. It's been a rough one. Okay, enough babbling. I'm gonna get to work. Well, just like everything in this van, I try to do something and something else gets in my way, and I got to do that first. So here we go. I had to make these, let's see if the lighting, I had to make these little PVC things. One is going to be for the port. This is an overflow pressure port for the water heater, so it needed to go out. And then also the other one is my vent for the tank, and it's going to come up here, route up the wall a little bit, and then come back out. And I wanted it to exit here. I was originally going to put it in this pillar because I thought there was a hole down there. There's kind of a hole, but it's not something I want to use, especially for high pressure water if this blows. So I opted to do this instead. And I was originally going to drill one hole. As you can see, I had a couple different spots I was thinking about. I was gonna do one hole and then just tee it so this would blow. But the problem with that is I didn't want, if this comes out of here at say 150 PSI, because I think this tag is, yeah, 150 PSI. So if this blows out and comes down into a T, and these are teed together, there is the potential that that water would travel up the vent and go back into my fresh water tank. And I don't want any contamination. So I opted to do two. So that's what I've been messing with. And our hardware store had just enough stuff to do some of it. I don't have the hose. Nobody in town carries a 5/8 ID hose, which is what I have over there that I got from Canada. So I'm probably gonna have to order some 5/8 hose from somewhere. I don't know, Amazon hopefully. It doesn't have to be potable or anything. It's just a vent, so whatever. Just like the other holes I drilled in the floor, I'm going to silicone these in, or this heavy duty construction adhesive. This has been good stuff because it stays pliable and it sticks to pretty much anything. We're gonna do that now, and then we will continue. I am going to do this one a little bit different. I'm going to stick my finger down there and try to spread this all over the sidewall because I want to get good adhesion, because I did not paint it. So I'm just putting a little there. It's so hard to get not enough or too much. That way I don't have to run a separate bead. Just use the excess. Heather, I've got 20 bucks that says this interferes with my uprights. I tried to measure enough over, but you know how my luck is. I got $20 that says those interfere, and I'm gonna have to redo all my framing. just want it to be warm. It's almost May, it's not warm yet. This is where I'm at. So I decided to make a step. I'm just gonna give you guys just a quick little rundown of what I've been working on and not filming. We'll get to this wall. You probably saw maybe earlier in this video that there was a wall there. Well, Brian strikes again. I have ruined that, but we're not focusing on the negative right now. I'm building a little shelf here. It's a little janky because I'll get to it. This is gonna be a step here, and it's gonna go out to here, and that'll open up, and that'll reveal this little area for storage, this little area for storage, and then this pipe to go in here. The downside is this is our flooring. As you can see, it's sticking up about, I don't know, half an inch or so. But I couldn't go super high because I didn't want this to be like a trip hazard. This is the problem when you work in corporate America and you think about safety all the time. But the downside of that is this piece right here is gonna kind of impede on my lid. So I'm gonna have to like cut a little circle out on the bottom side of the lid. That's gonna be fun. But this is where I'm at on it. I mean, I'm just kind of piecing it together. I've got, this was a fun piece to cut. I've got an angle there. I had to cut around all those. And then it looks a little bad, but this will go there. So it won't be too bad. So it'll just be like a little bit of a curve kind of thing. And then I guess if I want, I can caulk it, but I don't know that I'll actually do that. I had a small piece, this piece. I pulled the bench out and I was trying to get this piece out from underneath, even though I had nailed it here. I was trying everything. I tried cutting the nails, but I couldn't get my hacksaw in there. So I ultimately decided to pry it. And when I pried it, the piece right above it broke because it's pine and thin. I mean, that's only 1/4 of an inch. So I'm pulling that out, and the one that I cut my boxes into, that one broke. And I'm going, okay, this is how my day's gonna go. So I ended up pulling the whole thing down. The only one I was able to save was the one here where my Victron GX screen is gonna go. Thankfully, I can reuse that one. Not that that was hard to make. That one was actually worse because everything's primed in this van. So every cut I make, I have to prime. Anyway, so today's plan is to finish this. I say finish, I mean constructing it, and then I'll prime it all, and then we don't have flooring yet, so I'll have to floor that when we get our flooring, and then I'll do that, and then we'll see where we're at on this mess of the rest of the van. I want to work in that area next, but I gotta get all this cleaned up first. So if you're a carpenter, I need you to put down in the comments whether I'm a complete idiot or not, but I don't really know how to clamp this 45-degree angle. So I put tape on the bottom of it, and then I'm gonna fill glue in here, and I'm just gonna hold it. If there's a better way, I need to know for the future, but this is like all I can really come up with because I have no clamps to do that with. I really have very limited woodworking tools here, so you know, just put it down there if I'm an idiot or not. That is way too much glue, but we're gonna roll with it. All right. I can't get away from filming with a lawnmower nearby. You guys have watched our older videos, like out in the garage on the motorcycle. Constantly, every time I wanted to film, there was somebody mowing. I had to redo it with different tape, but the miter joint looks pretty good. And I mean, it's not super tight, but it's holding it in place. Whoa, that's dark. Take two. That was that for an intro. Yeah, man. Dear editor, I don't know if I showed this before the battery died 72 times. That's why I'm showing it. Okay. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And action.